And we are live. Good evening, everyone. This will be my last live stream for the year 2020. It has been an amazing year for myself and many of you who have been following me over the years. For many of you who have been involved in crypto, we finally have broken above the 20K resistance for Bitcoin. We touched, I believe, $29,300 for Bitcoin. So many of our favorite cryptocurrencies are reaching all-time highs or pushing for all-time highs. And it's an amazing time to be involved in this space because we are early. We are extremely early. We're talking about 1992, 1995 for the internet. There will be so many millionaires created through this wealth transfer. So many of you will go on to become financially free. So many of you will go on to start your own businesses, design your own crypto systems, etc. It's just really an exciting time. So I want to use this video as sort of a recap of 2020 and then discuss a roadmap for 2021 and what you should expect going forward. Yes, there will be pullbacks. We will have market corrections. I expect the tether bomb to explode in 2021, but then there will also be so much adoption and so many institutions and naysayers will jump on and pump our bags. Right now, we see NFL players getting their contracts negotiated and paid out in Bitcoin and crypto. Think about what's going to happen when 1% of the Fortune 500 start allocating their treasuries towards Bitcoin, sort of like Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy. It's coming. It's here. And what so many people don't understand, because so many people cannot look forward, this is bigger than just Bitcoin. Decentralization is our way of beating the globalist. See, right now what we're witnessing with this fourth industrial revolution and the Great Reset is we're watching centralized systems around us fail. Whether it's companies trying to store and hold your data and they're constantly getting hacked, people waking up to the abuses and the corruption and how people can, manipulate their information. And one thing about centralization is it concentrates power and it breeds corruption and fraud. Look at our government. Look at our election process. It's amazing that in 2020, we are still mailing in ballots and this whole archaic process of counting votes. We should be able to put this on a ledger. We should be able to utilize cryptography to do that and digital signatures and hash functions. So when you start understanding the power of decentralization, start thinking about digital identity on a blockchain, being able to interact in a public way where you don't have to trust someone, you can verify things, and that you can control your data, you can control your information through public key and private key cryptography. This is much bigger than just currency. And the sad thing about it is that so many people, they get so caught up in, Bitcoin's price that they don't understand that this is technology at the end of the day, right? This is a protocol. And there are so many different protocols. And I've spoken about this time and time again about the suite of protocols that, makes up the internet. So I just think that what type of communities you get involved in, who you listen to, what you feed your mind with is going to either be detrimental or beneficial to you in 2021. Because I keep stressing this technology is bigger than just the collapse of the dollar, right? We're literally talking about, the web 3.0. So I think that you need to make sure that you are getting into the correct communities, that you are really educating yourself beyond just the price of Bitcoin or the price of Ethereum or the price of Cardano, whichever cryptocurrency you like, and really getting into the tech, because this will be the future. Technology is extremely deflationary and it will eat up a lot of industries. We're watching this happen right now with Tesla. What do you think is going to happen when Tesla perfects the self-driving car? What do you think that what's going to happen when the robo-taxi fleet launches? What is that going to do to the taxi industry, right? There's just so much disruption coming with technology. Boston Dynamics, they just released a new robot that can dance and run and jump better than the previous robots that I showed you guys. So I just think that I want my channel going forward in 2021 to really focus on highlighting those things and pointing everyone in the correct direction so that you could be prepared for the fourth industrial revolution, because so many of us will be lost. We will be confused. We won't have an idea of where we're going. You're watching this happen right now with the Ripple people, where rather than admitting that they're wrong, they're doubling down. They're dollar cost averaging. I spoke about it when it was 39 cents. It crashed down to 19. More and more exchanges are starting to delist them, Binance. And this happens because people listen to the wrong people. And I don't want, see, one thing with this channel is I don't want you to listen to me. I want to be that bridge to point you to the information. I want you to be able to research the researcher, because see, if you can do that, then you can start asking the important questions. And once you understand the important questions to ask, it will then allow you to go on and to be successful. I've been involved in crypto for over 8 years. I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. But one thing I always understood as I began to learn the technology is that this is here to stay. This is bigger than just money. This is bigger than just digital gold. And it's just sad that so many of you are in the right place at the right time and you're still losing money. So I believe that 2020 was a great year for me, myself, and anyone who took my advice and went and read the books that I told them to read, that went out and did their due diligence on Chainlink, Polkadot, Cardano, VeChain, Synthetics, Aave, so many different projects that I've spoken about on this channel. If you've taken me up on that offer, many of you are up 100%, 200%, 300% on your money. And that's a beautiful thing. It's not just a blockchain. It's more than a blockchain. See, blockchains have been around for decades. It's the combination of the blockchain with hash functions, with proof of work, with proof of stake, with timestamps, with, digital signatures. It's the combination that Satoshi was able to bring together to solve the double spending problem. It's not just the blockchain. It's much more than just, the blockchain. So it's much bigger than that. And I think that, many of us, as you start to study the technology, you'll really start to understand where we're going. Right. So I just really think that that's important. So as you come into the live stream, please do me a favor and like this video, share this video, subscribe. Make sure that you hit the notification bell and you set it to all so that you will receive all of my notifications when I go live or upload a video. Also, in the description below, there is a link to my mailing list. Click the link, join my mailing list so that you can be notified via email when I'm going live. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. Please come over and follow me on Instagram. I need to get my Instagram following up. What I do is I take these videos that are like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, and I chop them up and I upload them into smaller clips on my Instagram page. And also you can shoot me a DM if you want to dialogue and have a conversation. If you're someone that you're new to this, you don't really have an understanding as to what's going on, this is going to be very important. And this is why I created my Tech Academy, because with crypto, you will encounter a lot of, people who are unethical, who are in this to make a quick buck. So I created my Tech Academy. We have a free 7-day trial. You can come test it out. We teach you all of the basics as far as how to buy, how to sell, what is the technology behind it. We're diving into a JavaScript bootcamp right now. Eventually, we're going to progress on to getting into React.js. That's a framework and a library. And then eventually get into building our own dApps, decentralized applications, utilizing Ethereum's blockchain and the Solidity programming language. But it's bigger than that. What I'm focused on doing is building a community. See, this is the most important thing. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to create a room or a group or a community with people who are not like-minded, but just intelligent people, because the more, the higher that you raise the vibration and the consciousness and the intelligence, now you can really expand on so many different ideas. And that's what I'm focused on doing. There will be so many changes coming in 2021 for my Tech Academy. I have so many announcements and different things that I'm going to be putting together over the coming weeks. So it's just an exciting time, man. For many of us who we've had the vision, for those of you who actually listened and I wouldn't say took my advice, but just looked into the things that I was talking about, many of you are well on your way to having, a beautiful life and reaping the benefits. So that's a beautiful thing. If you can see me clearly and hear me clearly, type 1 in the chat and we can get started. Look at Ripple. Ripple got smacked down all the way to 19. Binance just came out and basically, I believe they said they either delisting them or halting trading. I haven't had a chance to actually read the article. So this news broke the other day that this NFL player was going to receive half of his salary and his contract paid out in Bitcoin. So we're going to listen to this a little bit and then I'll give my commentary as we go, because I believe Spencer Dinwiddie was trying to do the same thing with Ethereum, or he tokenized his contract. Again, don't quote me on this, but it was something similar to that he did with his NBA contract. And now you see this guy doing it with his football contract. So first is gradually, right? First is, it's suddenly, then it's gradually, or however they say, make the saying. So let me put this right here and then we can listen to it together.
$6.5 million. Using a secondary system called Zap. Zap's founder, Jack Mallers, joins me now to explain how this works. Jack, thanks for joining us. What exactly is Zap?
Thanks for having me. Zap created a product, Strike, and Strike is the world's first Bitcoin native neobank. We're a bank built directly on top of the Bitcoin protocol, and we are able to perform things like sending money, receiving money, and issuing payroll on top of that protocol. So we allow you to make Bitcoin payments with US dollars, receive payments, Bitcoin payments as US dollars, and process US dollar payroll for someone like Russell.
Right, and he's definitely giving it star appeal, and I'm thinking the more mainstream, these cryptocurrencies go, so the higher goes their price. I mean, crypto's already up 40% in the month of December alone.
Yeah, here's my take on this, and I think it's a really important one. The everyday person here in the United States and around the world operates their life at a loss due to the exponential asset inflation, and this is becoming more apparent because of the pandemic and what's going on with the Federal Reserve's need to print money. Right. So inflation typically is defined by the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, which is a handpicked set of consumer goods defined by the government. And they claim that there is no inflation because my Netflix subscription is not going up in price. However, people like myself, Russell, and everyone else in America, we don't desire just Netflix. We want houses. We want cars. We want to put our kids through the best education. And those are assets. Those are things that are hard to obtain. And those are things that are inflating at an incredible pace.
Right.
My dad paid $9,000 in total to get his degree from Duke University. He put my little brother through university for $250,000.
I want to stop it there. We'll come back and we'll replay the video. I have been speaking about this and teaching about this on his channel for so long. He said something that should make the hairs stand up on you. Your entire body. Most people are operating their lives at a loss. Think about this. You are exchanging your most valuable asset, your most valuable commodity and resource, which is your essence, your being, your time, something that you could never get back. And you're giving that up for $1 that is inflating at an exponential rate. And it's losing, if you just follow the CPI data, which we know isn't accurate, you're operating at least a 3% loss. That's if you believe the government data. Now, we know governments lie all the time. So inflation in most major cities is somewhere close to 15, 20%. So think about this now. You're getting up, you're working harder and harder and harder, and you're losing more and more money, wealth, purchasing power, because your dollar is depreciating. This is so powerful once you start understanding this. This is what drives income inequality. Because the Fed literally picks winners and losers, and they do not allow the clearing function to properly happen, to allow zombie companies and businesses and banks to go bankrupt, to restructure. No, they bail them out. So, and then when you understand that the way that credit systems operate and the way that credit systems works is that once fractional reserve lending kicks in play and kicks into gear, and they start literally circulating that dollar through the economy 9-to-1 over and over and over again, and then creating derivatives on that debt, right? The credit expansion is one of the biggest problems. And if you're a student of my Tech Academy, I keep encouraging you to read the book, The Price of Tomorrow, to read The Creature from Jekyll Island. Because if you come over here to the Academy and you start reading these books, you will have such a deep understanding reading The Creature from Jekyll Island, reading what has government done to our money, reading The Price of Tomorrow. You will have such a deep fundamental understanding as to why Bitcoin is needed. See, so many of you think like, oh, Bitcoin's just money used for hackers and used to do illegal things. Because again, you've been programmed to think that. See, many of you don't, if you've been born in a prison, then you think that the prison's okay. Many of you enjoy this bondage. There are a lot of us, we're looking for ways out of the matrix. We're seeking that. And again, it could be Bitcoin, it could be Ethereum, we don't know. That's the beautiful thing. Someone will create that. As I said before, we're watching centralization fail right before our very eyes. Centralized government is failing. Centralized corporations, they're failing at protecting our data, protecting our information. Decentralization is the way to go. But again, you have to read these books to be educated on these things, to know and understand why cryptography mixed with hash functions, mixed with digital signatures, why it's so important. Why having an immutable, censorship, permissionless network is important. Many of you don't get that. Many of you don't understand the network effect. And it's important that you take the time out to educate yourself on these things. Because see, Jeff Booth, he said this. And I plug Jeff Booth all the time, because if you just read that book, the one book, The Price of Tomorrow, you will be light years ahead of the average person. The challenge for people in understanding what Bitcoin is and how important it is for our future comes from measuring all interactions from a different system. See, they're trying to compare Bitcoin to something that exists now. Bitcoin is something new, right? Satoshi took existing technology and solved a problem that creates something entirely new. So you cannot value Bitcoin based on existing technologies or old technologies. It's something completely new. The entire crypto space is completely new. This experiment of having rules without rulers, it's completely new. A manipulated inflationary system that is breaking down before our eyes. To move to a greater understanding requires an investigation of existing core beliefs that were and are formed from an old system, which is really hard because we don't let go of beliefs very easily. Even when confronted by facts and logic, strong emotions make this worse. And although it seems like that this is only true for others, it is also true for you and me too, which means the journey for most of society to understand Bitcoin and its importance is unlikely to be a straight line. Understand that it is a journey and empathize. That way you'll do far more to drive adoption than screaming into the vortex. And this is what's happening right now with the Ripple tards. Ripple looks like something they understand. So this is why you see so many people run to it, because it looks like a stock. It looks like a security. They have a CEO. They're partnering with banks, right? It's something that doesn't take a lot of intellectual bandwidth to understand. So this is why people run to a Stellar. They run to an IOTA. They'll run to a Ripple because it's familiar. It's hard to take the time out to dive down that Bitcoin rabbit hole and then dive down the DeFi rabbit hole and then start looking at things like Polkadot and looking at things like Chainlink, that takes a lot of time, and most people are lazy. Most people are not going to take the time out to do the necessary due diligence to get up to speed, which is why people like you and me, you and I, who we get involved early and become early adopters, we are allowed to capture so much wealth because we're willing to fail. We're willing to try new things and understand and see why Ripple is a piece of shit, why Ripple is garbage. We can see it. To the average person, Ripple looks like something that makes sense to them. Therefore, they pile into it, even while it's going down to 19 cents. Even when it's going to crash down to 10, 15 cents, they'll keep buying it because they believe somehow that the old system is going to come back. This system is gone. We're moving into the fourth industrial revolution. The old way of doing business with the CEO and all these things, this is what we're trying to get rid of. We're trying to have rules without rulers. We're trying to get rid of middlemen. We're trying to operate in a permissionless, immutable way, in a borderless way, in a more transparent, decentralized way, right? So think about having identity on a blockchain, right? Think about having control over your data and you saying and determining how much of that data you want to give away. Like, see, this is one of the powerful things about Bitcoin, because people think that Bitcoin is this, anonymous cryptocurrency used by scammers and schemers, and that couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. Bitcoin is one of the most open blockchains there is. You can literally go pull up a block explorer and you can see everything happening in the network. Bitcoin is pseudo-anonymous, meaning you know the individual's address, but you do not know the person behind that address. Now, when you start to abstract that and look at it from a larger perspective, just think about different types of data that you may want to store on a blockchain and share in an anonymous way, right? Or in a more private way, where you can decide, again, how much of your identity you want to give away. Do you want to just give your name, maybe your address? Maybe you want to have like a public key every time to verify that who you say you are without having to give a person your actual identity. These things are powerful. Like, why does Nike need to store your data and your information? That's because of government regulation. Well, they do a very poor job at holding that information and protecting it. Look what happened to Ledger recently, right? Because you create a honeypot where people would want to go and attack things. So as we begin to evolve, you're going to start to see this over and over again as more and more people adopt the technology, as smarter people come into this space. This technology is bigger than just currency. It's bigger than just finance. There are so many different use cases of being able to protect you and create a decentralized system for us to go forward. So again, it's a really, really exciting time. So let's finish listening to this video and get into some more stuff. I'll replay it again.
Joins me now to explain how this works. Jack, thanks for joining us. What exactly is Zap?
Thanks for having me. Zap created a product, Strike, and Strike is the world's first Bitcoin native neobank. We're a bank built directly on top of the Bitcoin protocol, and we are able to perform things like sending money, receiving money, and issuing payroll on top of that protocol. So we allow you to make Bitcoin payments with US dollars, receive payments, Bitcoin payments as US dollars, and process US dollar payroll for someone like Russell.
Right, and he's definitely giving it star appeal, and I'm thinking the more mainstream, these cryptocurrencies go, so the higher goes their price. I mean, crypto's already up 40% in the month of December alone.
Yeah, here's my take on this, and I think it's a really important one. The everyday person here in the United States and around the world operates their life at a loss due to the exponential asset inflation, and this is becoming more apparent because of the pandemic and what's going on with the Federal Reserve's need to print money. Right. So inflation typically is defined by the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, which is a handpicked set of consumer goods defined by the government. And they claim that there is no inflation because my Netflix subscription is not going up in price. However, people like myself, Russell, and everyone else in America, we don't desire just Netflix. We want houses. We want cars. We want to put our kids through the best education. And those are assets. Those are things that are hard to obtain. And those are things that are inflating at an incredible pace.
Right.
My dad paid $9,000 in total to get his degree from Duke University. He put my little brother through university for $250,000. 30 years later, that is not 2% inflation. That is almost 100% annualized inflation. And so if you are not outpacing the asset inflation rate in America, which is currently 15 to 20%, and you're not getting a 15% rent raise year over year, you are operating your life at a loss. Everything around you is getting more expensive. And so what Russell is doing is he's saying, I'm not going to risk my health. I'm not going to risk my body on the field and operate my life at a loss. I need to put my money in a harder asset, an asset that protects against inflation and that's scarce, and that's Bitcoin. And he's doing that on a global stage, and we're really, really proud to support him in that effort.
You did a good job explaining how important Bitcoin is and what exactly.
Again, I want to just reiterate and repeat that most people are operating their lives at a loss. It's insane that people really believe in paper money, fiat currencies, that they will, again, for lack of understanding, for ignorance, whatever the case may be, not look at the future and really believe in paper money. The dollar since 1913 has lost well over 90% of its purchasing power. If you took a dollar and you sat it inside of a bank back in 71, when we first had the executive order to break us from the gold standard and delink us under Nixon, and you simply left $100 in a bank in 1971 and you put $100 into gold, gold has far, outperformed the dollar. The dollar has lost about 70% of its purchasing power since then, since 71, right? So you have to really think about that and then understand gold has matured and gold has failed because gold will always have to be centralized. That's the problem with gold. It's too heavy. It's physical. And this is why a digital asset that's scarcer than gold, in the case of Bitcoin, is needed because we live in a digital world now. No one wants to lug around a whole bunch of these. It's just not happening. You're not going to be lugging around a bunch of 1 ounce American Buffalo gold coins, not in the digital world. And if you try to digitize gold or tokenize gold, you have to trust a third party. That's the problem. We are trying to get into a system that removes trust. Right? I don't want to trust. I want to be able to verify. And that's one of the most important things. And again, Jeff Booth made this comment right here. And I love these threads because it really allows you to understand things in a complex things, but in a simple way. Jeff Booth posted, central banks believing they can escape a massive debt problem by exponentially adding more debt makes me think of this quote from Mises. There is no means of avoiding the financial collapse of a boom brought about by credit expansion. The alternative is only whether the crisis should come sooner as a result of voluntary abandonment of further credit expansion or later as a final and total catastrophe of the currency system involved. P.S. The debt before the pandemic was $250 trillion on a global economy of $80 trillion, with $185 trillion of that $250 trillion of debt being added in the last 20 years. And that's looking backwards, adding at an exponential faster rate now. The unwind in whatever form it takes is going to be brutal. Only two choices now, all around the world, because this debt problem is bigger than just the United States. Everyone is on this fiat currency debt growth curve that we're on right now. Default through a deflationary depression, including a banking system collapse, or default through hyperinflation. In my humble opinion, Bitcoin is a must, not just for your wealth, but as a lifeboat. Please do your own research. It's here. You have, when you understand how credit works, I keep trying to tell you guys over and over again. You can create money faster with the stroke of a pen than you can save it. So what happens is that credit, when it starts making its way through the system, it keeps getting levered up over and over and over again. Every time it ends up in someone else's bank. That's why that whole fractional reserve lending starts to happen, right? So the banking system is creating more of this inflation, but they're creating it through debt. Faster than the Fed is even printing the money, because it's coming out through debt and it's bouncing around from bank balance sheet to bank balance sheet to bank's balance sheet. Therefore, the debt could be both an asset and a liability. And I have videos covering this. That's insane once you start understanding that. So we're getting to the point now where something has to change. But again, it's more of the same. When you look at these politicians, no one really wants to tackle these problems. As I said before, if you believe that with all of the problems facing the world, that Donald Trump and Joe Biden is the best that we can do, that is reflective of the system. This system is broken. It's a broken system. This form of government will no longer serve the public in a useful way. And this is why, being that this is our last stream of 2020, I know that I'm repeating some things, but understand there's always new people tuning in. But for those of us who we've been educating ourselves, reading the books, reading the white papers, studying the technology, diving deeper than just a signal group, we understand these things on a fundamental level. And this is why so many of us were sitting here while Bitcoin is, pumping higher, and we understand it's going to go much higher, because so many people they don't understand networks, and they don't understand the network effect. And all of these individuals who've been sitting on the sideline, once the cracks start to reveal themselves in our political system and our economic system and our monetary system, they're going to come flooding to Bitcoin. They will flood into DeFi. They're going to flood into the polka dots, the chain links of the world. And that's where you're going to start to see, $2-3 trillion jumps in a week. Trust me, we are early right now. And people keep saying, well, when is it going to pull back? It'll pull back soon. But remember, the halving happened. So there's less new Bitcoin coming into circulation in each new block, right? The block subsidy is getting cut in half because of the halving. So you can't look at technical analysis because the fundamentals have changed. And this is important. There's fundamental analysis and then there's technical analysis. Now, Tether is a problem. I've covered that. To think that the Tether bomb isn't going to eventually explode, it will explode. That will happen. The Tether bomb will pop, right? The Tether bomb will eventually explode. The question is, how do we respond? Remember, Bitcoin is an anti-fragile system. It's not a fragile system. See, the Fed is trying to push on a string. And the problem with pushing on a string is you never can push it hard enough or soft enough, right? It's hard to push a string. Bitcoin is an anti-fragile system. Once something happens, it gets stronger. It gets better, right? It's robust. It's dynamic because it's decentralized. It's open. So people will work on ways to improve it. So you want it to be tested. That's the beautiful thing about having an open source protocol, is it's constantly being attacked. It's constantly evolving. That's what you want. You want something that is robust enough that could be attacked, take that attack and get better. You don't want a system that's opaque, that's secretive, that you can't really see what's going on. You don't understand what's happening in the system. You don't know right now who's getting bailed out behind the scenes. You don't know which bank has a whole bunch of toxic derivatives on their balance sheet that can blow up the economy. No one truly knows that because it's so complex, right? And so much of our system is intertwined and interlinked. And this is how the whole too big to fail happens. And I have to bail this person out because this domino is connected to that domino. You want a system that's robust and open, where you can see everything. And see, this is one of the most powerful things about DeFi, decentralized finance, is the fact that you can start seeing and understanding what's really happening in the blockchain because it's an open blockchain, right? There's nothing secret like secret bailouts and deals happening. Go back to 2008 and 2009 when the bailouts were happening. Some of these banks knew exactly what they were doing and knew they were going to get bailed out and still took the money. Some of the banks didn't even need the money and they still took the money and paid out bonuses, right? So, and it's a revolving door. Many of the people who work in Treasury, who work in the Fed, they work in the private sector, they work at Goldman Sachs, they work at all these different hedge funds. It's a revolving door, right? So the same people who are creating a problem are then hired to fix the problem. We don't need that anymore. We need a system that's open and transparent. So yes, Tether is a problem. One thing about me, I'm very honest. I'm not someone who's going to tell you, buy the dip. No, Tether is a problem, but I believe that Bitcoin is stronger than that problem and will definitely steamroll that problem. Now, could we get a pullback when the Tether bomb eventually explodes? Absolutely. But remember, we don't have a CEO behind the scenes like with the garbage Ripple, setting up all these backroom deals and bribing people and all that. No, Bitcoin's a system that can survive on its own. And that's one of the most powerful things. It's robust. And it's the same thing with Ethereum and DeFi, etc. That's one of the beautiful things. Like if you look at the tooling and just the infrastructure that's being built within DeFi and the intellectual, the wealth of intelligence coming from so many different sectors into DeFi, you understand that we're in good hands, man. We're in safe hands. Polkadot being one of my favorite projects. I've been telling you guys about Polkadot since it was $4. Look, it's up over 100%. Right? It's up over 100%. Up over 100%. Right? Who you listen to and where you get your information from is going to be extremely important. Notice you didn't hear me promoting liquidity mining. You didn't see me promoting, yield farming. You didn't see me doing any of that. I promoted legitimate stuff to you that could actually make you money. And I wouldn't even say promoted. I just spoke about things that I was passionate about, that I had my money in. No sushis, no yams, no harvest finance, and then pickle, right? Cover. I didn't promote any of that because I understood that I understand the game theory in the yield farming and the way that these tokens are structured, right? It's a Ponzi scheme when you look at those, the way they're structured, right? It's about who gets in with the biggest bag and then when do you dump, right? That's what happens. Or when will the developers rug pull you? So this is why I don't promote stuff like that, because I know it's only a matter of time before those bombs explode. But throughout those explosions, good technology will arise. And this is what you have to understand, which is why it's important that you protect your capital and you make sure that you are protecting your Bitcoin as you go, because this is extremely important. Let's see what's going on in here right now. Let's look at the chat, see what some of you guys are talking about. The DeFi course is coming. The DeFi course is a big course. It's not a small course. Strong Larry 73. I had to re-record the course 2 different times now, because the first time I start recording the course, I tried to do it on PowerPoints, right? Like just do PowerPoint presentations. I got up to the point I had almost 400 slides, right? DeFi is too broad, it's too deep to just do it on PowerPoint. Because some of these products, you have to really demonstrate the products. You have to go into the code and really just get hands-on. So I filmed about probably I would say like a quarter of it with like doing PowerPoints, and then the amount of time it takes to do a PowerPoint or a flow chart. It's better off just really just demonstrating and using the technology and talking about the stack. So the DeFi course, it should be getting released soon. I'm still working on it as we speak. That's a part of the roadmap for 2021. And we could speak about some of that right now. When we start thinking about 2021, I believe the Tether bomb is something that will explode in 2021. And I believe that we'll have a deep correction, and that'll give a lot of people time to get in, because people will bail and say, see, look, I told you it was a scam. I believe that DeFi is going to have a monster run. I look at Ethereum right now, and like this is a no-brainer to me getting involved in ETH. Again, dollar cost averaging. We don't buy pumps, we buy pullbacks. Also, let me make sure that I recognize the donations. I saw a donation coming by Strong Larry. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. You have helped a lot of us get on the road to winning. Thanks, Eli. No problem. Thank you for the donation. I greatly appreciate it. I'll continue to keep doing my best. Bert says, there are restrictions for those of us living in Texas with Binance. As far as location, it's not yet authorized for purchase here. Are there any other platforms also for Polkadot. Bert, this is why I created my Tech Academy. Come into the Academy, and I cover all of that stuff in the Academy. So for those of you, if you want to learn how to buy certain cryptocurrencies that you cannot get your hands on, using VPNs, using decentralized exchanges, wallets, etc., I cover all of that stuff inside of the course. Come into the course, and that way you'll be able to get all of the information that you need, right? So I'll be able to I'll cover all that for you. Right. So now look at this. So apply Joseph. Listen to this logic. He says, we can't get paid from our employers, buy groceries, pay rent using crypto. What is the purpose of buying it besides holding it and hoping it goes up in value? The purpose of buying it, number one, is that you want to participate in the network effect before other people get involved. The same purpose that people invest in Tesla, right? You're investing in Tesla because you believe that eventually it will get mass adopted. Prime example, right now we have an NFL player that's getting paid, right? There's a protocol, literally the video just said that. Zap is a protocol where employers can pay people in Bitcoin. So now, you don't buy Tesla after they perfected the self-driving car and they're all over the road. You buy it because the vision as one day this is where it will go. This is called investing, right? I'm investing in something because right now it's undervalued. And I believe eventually as more and more people adopt it and it starts to become a store of value, a medium of exchange, a unit of account, what do you think the price of Bitcoin is going to be then? You don't buy it once everyone's using it. That defies the whole idea of investing in it. And the reason why I'm being sarcastic like this is because Applied Joseph keeps coming into this chat and trying to figure out a way to, create this idea somehow that Bitcoin's problematic. You've been wrong for over 11 years and you continue to keep being wrong, right? You continue to keep wrong. No, I believe that it said Zap. Zap CEO. It's not, he said Zap CEO. Maybe the product is Strike. Zap is an Oracle coin, but it says Zap CEO Jack Mallers on Fox Business News. So maybe he's the founder, but it's a product. Could be Strike, Zap, whatever the case may be. There's a product right now where people can get paid in crypto. Right? So at a certain point, right, it's not complicated here. You don't invest in something after they've solved the problem. You invest before the problem gets solved. Because at that point, when people are paying their bills with crypto, when people are paying their rent and getting groceries with crypto, then it's too late. We have PayPal now. PayPal has, I believe, anywhere from 26 million to 30 million merchants worldwide. That's adoption. Those are places that you can use it. There's even crypto debit cards coming out. Adoption is happening. The idea is you want to invest before mass adoption happens. Right? I mean, this isn't, complicated, right? This is pretty simple. 1 + 1 = 2, right? So this idea that I'm just holding it for it to go up. Yes. Why do I buy gold coins? Because I want to protect my purchasing power. Because my government is participating in inflationary practices. Our monetary policy is very inflationary. So I want to store my purchasing power, my value in gold. I believe it's Strike. I believe he's the CEO. Let's play it again so that we can be accurate here. Let's go back. I think the guy in the chat is right. Jonathan, I think he's right. I think he said Strike. So let's replay it.
On top of that protocol. So we allow you to make Bitcoin payments with US on top of the Bitcoin protocol, and we are able to perform things like, thanks for having me. Zap created a product, Strike, and Strike is the world's first.
Okay, so he says Zap. I guess he's the CEO of Zap, and they created a product called Strike that allows you to get paid. So thank you for that clarification. I don't know anything about Zap. I've never purchased it. I just know this is the news with the NFL player. I'm not involved in Zap or Strike. I'm just showing you utility. So I don't own Zap. I haven't looked in it. I'm not telling you to go out and buy it. I don't know too much about that particular cryptocurrency or protocol or company or whatever the case may be. Go do your own due diligence. I'm just simply showing you that it's adoption. And that's the whole purpose of investing. People already have purchased real estate with Bitcoin. Andreas Antonopoulos sold his car for Bitcoin. There are a few people who they went out and purchased real estate with crypto. So people have already started doing that. I covered that inside of the course, Earl Edney, about Polkadot. See what else is going on in here. Yeah, there's multiple Bitcoin ATMs all over the world. Some Bitcoin ATMs you do not have to use ID to purchase it or any type of like identification. So, but listen, Apply Joseph, he's just trolling. So I love to answer his questions. Blue Fig says, I was speaking to a man on Twitter who purchased a house in Idaho using DAI. Yeah, many people use different cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin's very slow. And the transactions tend to be higher. So I could see someone using like a stable coin to do it, like a DAI or USDC. Or I could see someone using ETH to do that. Let's see what else is going on here. No middleman. Polkadot's been on fire. Yeah, Polkadot's one of my favorite cryptocurrencies, Golden Gate. One of my favorite cryptocurrencies. I've been telling you guys about that for a while. Polkadot's going to be major piece of technology. Top Max says Bitcoin is literally the definition of getting on code. Yeah, 100%. You feel the inflation when you buy food. You know, the funny thing is, it's not calculated in the CPI. Food and energy isn't calculated in the CPI data. Isn't that interesting that they don't calculate food and energy in the CPIs? It's insane. But they'll calculate like the price of your Netflix and subscription and stuff like that. It's just crazy. And we know that technology is deflationary, but that's not a good or service that like we actually need. Like we need energy, we need food, we need education, we need housing. And these are things that either they underrepresent in the inflation calculation or is not even represented. Right. Oh, we don't have any Ripple tards today, I see. No Ripple tards in the house. That's good. Got rid of most of the Ripple tards. I guess after they've been getting smashed, I guess after this smashing that they've been taking, they finally stopped, which is good. Yeah, we got rid of the Ripple tards. Look at this, guys. They're saying buy the dip. Buy this. They were telling you buy this dip. Look at this. Bang. Just like the South Park video, and it's gone, and they're gone. It's beautiful to see them, man. So just in 2021, just make sure that you are joining good communities and make sure that you are really positioning yourself properly, dollar cost averaging, not putting too much money in, buying pullbacks, buying dips of solid projects. Now, understand there's technical analysis and then there's fundamental analysis. Ripple is fundamentally broken right now. It's fundamentally broken. The use case, the utility, the model is completely changed, right? So you can't say buy the dip because you don't know fundamentally what's really going to happen with Ripple. Are they going to settle this case? Will they have to register as a security? Will they try to move the company to another location? Like all of these different things, they have to play themselves out. And it could take time for it to play itself out. And there's an opportunity cost on money. So I just think that there's better places to put your money. Now, let's say that something happens fundamentally with Bitcoin. Then I would sell, I would take profit on my cryptocurrency and reevaluate the situation. This is why, again, having a proper roadmap in place. And for many of you, and I stress this all the time, for those of you who didn't get a chance to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, or you don't have the money to, most of the wealth in crypto is captured by people who build things. The technology will be, the technology will rule the future, right? Those who understand tech will be able to thrive in this space. And those of us who don't understand technology, we're going to be the ones who basically get destroyed. This is why I, emphasize learning how to code so much, because if you know how to code and program, you can work anywhere in the world. Yes, coding and programming is hard. I'm not going to tell you that it's easy. But once you put that year in, you put that 2 years in, you learn a skill that you can literally use anywhere in the world. And once you learn one programming language, it's not hard to learn Python or learn Java or C or C++ once you take the time out and you learn one language, right? Because once you learn the fundamentals of programming, then you can apply it to other languages. So this is why I stressed so much to this. And this is why going forward in 2021, we're heavily going to be focused on coding and programming, heavily. Even on this channel, you're going to start seeing me build things on this channel, like small projects and things of that nature, just to sort of advertise to you why you want to come into the academy and see things, because there are individuals inside of our group. Some people they were senior engineers at some companies. Other people run their own businesses. So it's good to just be in a group of other professional people. And this is why I love, the academy that I put together, because there are people in the group that are better programmers than me. There are people in the group that are better. They have more work experience in programming than me. So I learn from them. They learn from me. We learn from each other. That's the type of community you want to be in. And then it allows you to stay up to speed, because so much is happening in crypto that you can't keep up. Like for myself, every day, I haven't even had a chance to dive into the latest cover arbitrage that happened. I haven't even had a chance because I've been so caught up in Ripple, right? So it's like, that's the beautiful thing about crypto, is being in a group. You can have so many people, we can leverage each other's experience. And that's the importance of, a roadmap in 2021, is knowing where you are and where you're trying to go. Thank you for the donation, JB. Patiently waiting for ETH and Polkadot to pull back to drop a baby bag. What would your sweet spot for either of them be at this point? And keep up the great work with the academy. JB, I believe that you're in the academy because I saw that you posted something similar to this earlier. I'm going to update the PDF that we have. And in the PDF, I cover all of the different price levels that you want to look at getting involved in. I have an algorithm that basically looks on the chain, and it can see where a bulk of the buying's happening at, or where a bulk of the selling pressure is happening at, like just where transactions are really happening. Because that's the beautiful thing about being with an open blockchain. You can start to see and track things and see which addresses are transacting and at what particular prices are they transacting at. So you can really start to really see, is this support? Is this resistance? Why are people buying here? And looking at the volume profile. So I'll be updating that in the next week as far as different things. Because I've also been buying some cryptocurrencies. Like I started buying synthetics. I started getting involved in Aave. I told you guys I got involved in the Graph token. I really, really believe in the Graph. I think the Graph is going to be a major, major project. The token distribution, they're going to dilute it. They're going to dump a lot of tokens into the market over the next 6 months. But I really, really believe in that project. I like what the Stoic Blueprint just said. Do you think with the lack of easy understanding around Bitcoin that it could really be adopted by the masses, knowing that the average person isn't that intelligent? Yeah, the average person just isn't that intelligent. But what's going to happen is this. Because of so much corruption and fraud in our centralized system, that's an amazing question. They're going to be forced to have to adopt Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, because they're going to wake up and either the inflation, like the people in Venezuela, the inflation is going to be so severe. It's going to get to a point where you're not going to be able to ignore it anymore. See, it's happening right now. Like, think about this. we're so polarized as a country. You can't escape people's political views anymore. Like before, you can go to a sporting event and just watch the game, and you didn't have to worry about being bombarded with politics and what's happening socially. You can't anymore. There's no middle. And what's going to happen, the same thing's happening right now with the economy. There will be no middle, right? You either will be rich or you will be poor. And if you're a person who's losing wealth, you're naturally going to run for something that's going to be able to store value. So what's going to happen is, first it's going to happen gradually, and then it's going to happen suddenly, because people are going to wake up and they're going to realize, number one, they're going to start seeing more headlines like this. So it just is naturally going to run people into crypto. Another reason why you see Polkadot pumping the way it's pumping is because the Ripple tards who've gotten burned in Ripple, they're selling out of Ripple now, and that money's flowing into Polkadot. That's another thing that's going to happen. Once this space starts to mature more, and these garbage coins like Ripple and Stellar and IOTA and the BNB token and Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, once people realize that those chains are dead, those billions of dollars, like look at this right now. I spoke about this. Go back and watch my old videos. I told you guys the top 10 will change. At the time, it was, BSV was in the top 10, XLM was up there, EOS, and I told you guys that garbage is going to get out of the top 10. It's the same thing with the top 25. So what's going to happen is the middle class is going to get compressed. They're going to run towards a Bitcoin. Institutions are going to have to adopt Bitcoin. Why? Because the Fed already told you interest rates for the foreseeable future to 2023, 2024 are going to remain zero. Negative rates are coming. So now what's going to happen to pension funds, mutual funds? Remember, as the liquidity pool gets bigger in Bitcoin, right? And the economic bandwidth gets bigger, that means more adoption is going to come. So institutions will come, pension funds will come, middle class was getting wiped out, they're going to come, and then the idiots will come, right? The idiots will be the last people to come. They're going to come because they're going to either be basically they be way below, the poverty line, or they are going to hear about their favorite celebrity or whoever talking about, and then they're eventually going to come. Or they're going to get burned in the Ripples, burned in the Stellars, burned in the EOSs, burned in Tron, burned in NIM, burned in what other garbage is up here, Neo, and then eventually they'll come to our blockchains as well, right? So that's how it's going to happen. That's how eventually how it will happen. So yes, the Bitcoin is very technical and hard for the average person to understand, but also understand too, as more adoption comes into play, the use case will eventually be articulated better for Bitcoin, and the onboarding process will be much easier and seamless. Like, think about how easy DeFi is to use right now. Like, with your MetaMask wallet. Like, right here, right now, I have my MetaMask wallet right here in my browser, and I could just buy and sell stuff right in my browser with my MetaMask wallet. Like, I think a lot of you should try out, like, the DeFi products. And this is another thing, again, I keep talking about the DeFi course, but once it's completed, you're going to start to see how easy it is to use a lot of this stuff. Like, if you can send an email address, if you can see the email and you understand how to use your email address, you can understand crypto. Right? So DeFi makes crypto very, very easy. I really think that you should look into how easy it is to use DeFi. Jamar King, Gemini does have Polkadot, but the problem is that it's restricted in certain areas. Right? Certain areas you cannot you can't purchase certain cryptocurrencies. Like, I live here in New York, and there's certain cryptocurrencies that I cannot purchase. So, like I said before, like, look at this. Bitcoin Cash is absolutely garbage. It's garbage. Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, garbage. And this used to be in the top 10. Same thing with Litecoin, absolute garbage. Cardano, I used to have a big bag of it. I sold out of a lot of it. That was stupid of me. I should have held on to it. It's doing really well. I have a little bit left, but I had a big bag at one time. Tezos is one of my picks that's not doing well. I'm not losing money, but I'm not really making a lot of money with Tezos. NEM used to be up there. Tron, EOS, Stellar, Monero's my favorite. Like all of these coins, they're going to come out of the top 25. I believe that Aave, Synthetics, Zilliqa. I've been looking a little bit into Zilliqa. I like what I see with Zilliqa. Synthetics, Zilliqa, Aave, that's going to get in the top 25 easily. Compound, Maker, right? Kusama, the Graph. I dropped the big bag on the Graph. That's easily going to get in the top 25. I like Ren. I have a bag of Ontology as well. That's not doing well. Basic Attention Token. I have a bag of that. 0x. I like Loop Ring. Loop Ring is really good. Hedera Hash Graph is good. Ren. Right, there's a lot of good projects, man. A lot of good projects that they have use cases, man. A lot of good projects. Litecoin is trash because what developments are actually happening on the chain? All of the things that they promised you that was going to happen hasn't happened. See, at a certain point, this is the problem with Ripple. This is the problem with Ripple. At a certain point, you can't keep telling me what you're going to do. You have to start doing the things that you say that you want to do. Right? Right? Think about this. If I come up here every day and I keep saying, next week's today, guys. Next week's today, guys. The same thing with Tron. I have an announcement about an announcement that I made last week that I was going to announce something last month. So it's an announcement for an announcement for an announcement. At a certain point, the marketplace will want to see results. They want to see something materialize from all of this development that you're doing. When you look at DeFi and you start, especially once for some of you who are in the academy, and you start seeing how these protocols, the interoperability and how they work with each other just seamlessly, you start seeing the user experience. You start to be a believer because you start saying to yourself, even if Ethereum won't be the protocol to capture DeFi, let's say it's Tezos or Cardano or an Avalanche, whatever the case may be, you can see the utility. You can see the fruits of the labor of the network and the teams and the tooling and the infrastructure. You can see it. Like doing flash loans on Aave, being able to stake and earn interest immediately, being able to create an over-collateralized loan and being a liquidity provider on, Bancor and stuff like that. You can see it, right? Like I don't need, an influencer to tell me about these things. I use these products. I can see it. That's important. I believe that Richard Hart is extremely, extremely smart. I've developed a lot of my, philosophies based upon some of the things that Richard Hart says. I think that Hex is it's an interesting project. I haven't really looked a lot into it, but he makes a lot of valid points just based upon the things that he says. Like, think about it. People basically hold crypto, right, as a store of value. So why not reward people to keep their tokens locked up, to stake them? And then if you reward people for staking them and holding them and increase the value, that makes them lock it up even more, right? That just drives the price. So I think that he has some very, very good economic game theory. Richard Hart understands psychology more. And I think that so many people in crypto, they miss that. They miss the psychology behind. A lot of people, they love freemium. They love getting something for nothing. So I think that project, again, I don't have any money in it, but I think that Richard Hart has created something, and it doesn't have mass adoption yet. I think that a lot of people are going to be attracted to the idea of staking and time lock deposits. I really think that people will like that. And I think that that's a project that's going to do well. Right? I really think that that's going to do well. I think that Richard understands all of Bitcoin's weaknesses, and he understands the average person. If they see something that's trading at less than a penny, they're going to go for it. Right? It's human nature. So Richard Hart's very, very smart. I would encourage a lot of you to go and listen to Richard Hart. You don't have to buy into Hex, but even if you think he's a scammer, whatever you think about him, I think he's brilliant. But you'll learn a lot from Richard Hart. I've learned a lot from Richard Hart over the years. Right? But the psychology of people of holding things and staking things. It's just it makes sense, right? So I 100% I really recommend. Richard Hart is one of the better thought leaders in crypto because he's honest. Like, that's one thing about Richard. You will learn a lot from him. Like, he tells you the brutal truth about these projects. So, Hex is definitely a good project that you should look into. Yeah, but see, Mr. G, what you're missing is, number one, you didn't get them for their Bitcoin because I believe that you could free claim your Bitcoin. Like, he got them for their, well, I'm going to say he got them. The criticism of Hex was that people give up their ETH for Hex. But with Bitcoin, I believe you could free claim. From what I understand, again, don't quote me on this, go and do your own due diligence. But from what I understand, you could free claim with your Bitcoin. It was just a snapshot of your Bitcoin. He never took anyone's Bitcoin. Well, he never took anything from anyone. The protocol is not set up for you to have to give up your Bitcoin in any way. It was just a snapshot of your Bitcoin. And then the ETH, I believe you had to send ETH to a contract address, and then they would send the Hex from the contract address, something like that, to that liking. So I definitely take a look into and look into that. But it was like something like an adoption amplifier. Again, I didn't have a lot of time to look into it because, think about it, I'm running an academy, I'm running a coding boot camp, I'm in Polkadot, I'm in Chainlink. I don't have enough time. There's not enough time in the day to look at every project. Like, there just isn't. But it's a good project. I think that it's a good project, just from what I've heard so far, and I really think that you should take a look at it. Now, Jonathan Jacobs, I agree with you. It possibly could be a long con. That could be the game theory built into the way it's structured. Could be. We don't know. Like, we don't know who is the I believe like a receiving address for the ETH. We don't know, and that could be possible, right? I love Chainlink. Chainlink. If I don't want to nerd out. I try to keep things like very surface level on a channel because I understand that some people get bored with this stuff. This is my thinking, right? And this is how I like to articulate this. You have a BMW, you have a Range Rover, and you have a Mercedes-Benz. All luxury cars. Some are sports cars, others are meant to be driven in, right? They all have different, perks with them, pros and cons. Why try to pick the correct car when you could just be the oil and the gas that powers every car? Chainlink powers DeFi. I don't want to sit up here and try to pick between Cardano and Ethereum and Polkadot and Tezos. I want to be the oil that will power all of them, and that's data. Data is a valuable commodity in the digital world, and Chainlink is a decentralized oracle that provides data. I want that, right? I want to be involved in that 100%, right? That's what I want to be involved in. Same thing with Polkadot. Interoperability, faster throughput. I like that. Right? Right? I like that. I would just say, Alex, which cryptocurrency isn't a whale coin? Think of which cryptocurrency isn't a whale coin. Almost every coin you can think of is a whale coin, right? The dollar's a whale coin. Look at the wealth distribution in this country in terms of who owns most of the stock market. Almost everything is controlled by whales, right? So that's not the idea of being permissionless and borderless. Is the barrier to entry, right? Can I come into the network and leave the network when I want? See, that's the important thing. So, like, what is the barrier to entry to getting involved in crypto? You have to go through some type of on-ramp. Once you go through that on-ramp, a fiat on-ramp, you're in, right? There's no barrier to entry. And if you want to, you could just mine your cryptocurrency. Like, if you don't want to go through Coinbase, all you have to do is run a miner. Now, obviously, the mining difficulty is insane right now. as far as you being able to get a lot of Bitcoin mining. But I'm saying is that anyone can participate in the network. You don't have to put your ID up to be a miner. You don't have to do any of that. You just be a miner, right? So now the problem is with these on-ramps, but once you're on-ramp, there's nothing stopping you from interacting with any blockchain. With the stock market, you have to go through a process to get involved, right? So that all of those things are important, right? So all coins are whale coins. All assets are whale assets because the top 1% controls everything. Look at this. Look at Ripple. Look at this. I could sit up here and just watch Ripple get destroyed all day long. This is like porn to me because I've been saying for years, Ripple is garbage. I love watching Ripple just melt. I like what Brian Driscoll said. Difference is the whales are much bigger elsewhere. Decent bag holders may become whales 10, 20 years in the future with crypto. Yeah, because think about this, right? And this is what so many people miss. Look how early we are. This is worth $763 billion. The entire cryptocurrency market cap is worth $763 billion. Do you understand how early we are? Do you understand this is a baby? That this is tiny? In the global scheme of things, this is a baby. But the Fed's throwing $1 trillion here, $2 trillion there, $7 trillion here. We just passed the $900 billion stimulus. The one before that was $3 trillion. Come on, man. It's not complicated, right? This is not complicated at all. We are in the infancy stage. This is early. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this, right? This is why I stress coding. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta turn the volume off. Don't want to get a copyright strike. This is real, by the way, guys. This robot is real. These are the robots that I was showing that can run, jump, and flip. It's Boston Dynamics. They're dancing to the song. I forgot the song. I don't want to get a copyright strike. I've been telling you guys, someone has to build these robots though. Someone has to program them and operate and maintenance them. I've been telling you, this is deflationary. What's going to happen to so many jobs? What's going to happen to so many industries? But no one wants to listen to me. It's the twist. Yeah, it's the twist. It's the twist. I didn't want to get a copyright strike. Robots, they're coming. But someone has to program them. Someone has to develop the software, maintenance the software, et cetera, et cetera. This is why I keep saying learn the code, learn the program, learn about tech. Either learn about hardware, learn about networking, learn about coding, whatever the case may be. Just get involved in tech. That's where the money's at. Look, this guy said this is incredible engineering. Boston Dynamics, robotic control, Tesla autopilots, machine learning, open AI, and deep mind self-play learning, AGI dance party. I took the sound off. No, this is real, guys. This isn't fake. This isn't fake. This is real. This isn't CGI. This is real. This isn't CGI. This is real. I've been showing you guys about Boston Dynamics for a long time. This is real. Okay. Terra Tapes, you can believe it's fake all you want. You can believe it is fake all you want. You keep believing that. Machine learning, and this is why it's important to get involved in tech, right? Because Python's another programming language that I wouldn't say I'm good with Python. I'm okay, okay with Python. But once you start understanding what Python can do with AI and machine learning, and trust me, if you think that this is CGI, you have no idea what's coming. You have no idea what's coming. If you believe that this is CGI, this is real. And these robots are real. Drones are real. They are here. Here in New York City, the NYPD will start using the spot dog. There are articles talking about it. The dog that's in this video, the NYPD will start using that dog. They're going to start adopting it. But you can believe it's CGI, you know. This is why America, we are doomed, because so many of our I was watching this video with this guy from, I believe he was like a Russian spy with like the KGB or something. I don't know the exact agency. And he was talking about how so many of us, because we've distorted reality so much, we don't really know what's like fact and like what's fake. Like we can't tell a difference. So many of us, even when you put the information in front of us, we won't believe it because things have been distorted so badly. So, you know. Oh. Okay. Okay. You can believe that. You are entitled to believe what you want to believe. I'll show you another video with the robots and you tell me if it's fake. I want to see if I can find it. Where's the other video at? These are all the new videos. Let's see. I'll show you another video with the robots. You tell me if this one's fake. Where's the older videos at? Where it can run. Damn, it's like all day long they keep showing the same one. Where the older ones at? All right, we're going to try. This is getting ridiculous. Boston Dynamics. Jumping. Oh, let's see if I can find it. Is this fake? Is this fake too? Because this is the same robot. This is CGI too? They've been working on these robots for years. So if you believe that this is fake, this is fake too? No impressions on the floor. You just want to. This is fake too, right? This is fake too. Tesla self-driving cars, they're fake as well. So drones that can fly themselves, like, you know, the military, they have drones that just go and just drone strike people on their own. Someone can manually operate it thousands of miles away. Like, people don't even fly, like the actual like drones, people don't even fly them when they drone strike people. But okay. Okay. He said Ripple is fake. This one is also CGI. I love the chat, guys. You guys are funny. You must think Ripple's just dipping right now. Ripple is absolutely dipping. Buy the dip. Yeah, artificial food, like Beyond and Impossible, they will pump hard. Yeah, absolutely. Like 3D printers can print food. They can print organs as well. Right? Like Big Claus at the World Economic Forum, like he said, you'll own nothing and you'll love it. So I want to play this video. You know, I like to have a little fun, guys, and laugh. This guy, go follow him. I'm gonna put his link in the chat. His name is Naga Tribe. Yo, this guy had me cracking up. I'm going to play this for you. This guy had me cracking up right here. He was talking about Ripple. Some of you might like it. Some of you might not like it. You know me. I like to have a little bit of fun on this channel. So I'm going to play this for you guys. This is hilarious, yo. He's talking about Ripple. So, you know, Nog Champion. Champa says Makai Johnson got killed by a robot. I don't know who that is. Let's look that up. I didn't know that. I don't even know who that is. Oh, was this the guy in Texas? Yeah. I remember this story years ago with the police. Yeah. I remember that. I'll look into that. You know, I love a good conspiracy theory. So let's have a little fun right now. Listen to this, guys. Thank you for the donation, by the way, too. I appreciate it.
I pray for the success of cryptocurrency. And I pray to the crypto gods right now that in order for there to be success in cryptocurrency, there are some cryptocurrencies that have to fall. There are some cryptocurrencies out there that must fall. XRP is one of those cryptocurrencies. Stellar is another one of those goddamn cryptocurrencies that gotta go. They gotta fall. So I'm praying right now for the fall of XRP. I'm praying that XRP get delisted from every goddamn exchange in the motherfucking world. I pray that XRP continues to dump. Because Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, David Schwartz, and Jeb McCaleb are some greedy motherfucking bastards. And they deserve to be thrown in a fucking cage where they belong. These are animals. And they deserve to be in jail. In a cage, locked in a fucking cage where they belong because they some greedy fucking bastards. Greedy fucking bastards that these motherfuckers are. And I pray these motherfuckers go to jail. I pray that these motherfuckers become somebody's bitch in jail. I pray that these motherfuckers become prison strippers. Like when they make it rain on the strippers in the strip club with the dollars. Instead of making it rain with dollars, these motherfuckers gonna be in prison. And the prisoners are gonna make it rain on these motherfuckers with commissary. God damn it, they gonna be making it rain with fucking noodles. God damn it, oodles and noodles. They gonna be making it rain with oodles and noodles on these bitches. They're gonna be making it rain with potato chips and shit. Honey buns and shit. That's how they gonna make it rain on these bitches. And then when they through giving the prisoners table dances, I pray these motherfuckers break out the red Kool-Aid. Make these bitches wear that shit as lipstick. And then I pray they bust out the motherfucking grape jelly. Smear it right on their assholes and make these motherfuckers lick that grape jelly out of their fucking donut holes. Brad Garlinghouse, Jeb McCaleb, Chris Larson, David Schwartz, I pray you wind up in jail licking jelly out somebody's asshole. This is what I pray for you motherfuckers. Now you motherfuckers that's in the XRP community, you're innocent victims in this. You don't know no better. Okay, and I hear a lot of you on Twitter say, oh, I can't wait. Yeah, dump some more so I can buy the dip. That's exactly what these motherfuckers want you to do. To buy the dip so they can dump on your motherfucking heads and continue to be motherfucking greedy. These motherfuckers gonna have to flee the country. These motherfuckers deserve to go to jail because they're crooks.
Oh shit.
And the SEC knows it. So all praises is due to the motherfucking SEC right now for coming at motherfucking XRP. It is a scam coin. Okay. And Nagabo officially sold.
Yeah. Man, go follow him, man. He's funny. He had me laughing so hard. Go give Nagabo a follow, man. He's hilarious, yo. His videos are funny. I just posted his link in the chat. Oh man. Thank you for the donation, Fantasy Hustlers. Yeah, he was real passionate, man. He is hilarious, man. He is hilarious. Oh man. Woo. Jojo posted what you think about the Divi project and its master node. I've never heard of the project, honestly. Let's type it in. There's a whole list of projects you guys have donated and asked me to look into. I keep saying I'll do it one of these days. I get so busy sometimes. Excuse me. I'll add it to the list right now. I know y'all guys be asked about ICX, Civic, Celsius. I have a whole list. Where's my iPad at? I'll add that to the list. Woo! Man, Nagabo is funny. I'll add that to the list, Jojo. Projects y'all want me to look at. Let's put this on the list. Hold on, let me fix my pen. My pencil for my iPad. I'll add this to the list. I have a whole list that you guys been asking me to look into. I started looking into Zilliqa and Ren because I wanted to put some money into those projects. I've been looking at Zilliqa, Ren. What was the other one that you guys told me to look at? I started looking into Celsius. That's how I know Celsius is in they register with the SEC from what I've researched so far. So add this to the list, my list of cryptocurrencies to look at. Based upon donations, it is called Divi. ICX. What was the other one? I keep forgetting the other one. Synthetics. I bought Synthetics. I mean. What was the other project that you guys kept asking me to look at? It was API 3. I looked into that. I decided to go with the Graph project. What was the other one? I want to put some money in the Band, but I don't really like what I'm seeing with Band, honestly. I'm trying to think of the other one that everyone kept asking me about. Where was the other one at? I have a bag of Matic. Matic's been falling, but it's been doing okay for the year. Yeah, Zilliqa. Filecoin. There we go. Filecoin. That was one on the list. Filecoin. I had a list on my iPad. Let me just remake the list now. I have so many notes in this iPad. Yeah, Band. I've been looking into Band. I don't really like the fact that they have like admin keys and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah. I like the Celsius project from so far that I've been looking at. I like Celsius. I know that you can stake Zilliqa with the Atomic Wallet. I believe the Atomic Wallet. They had some good rates with staking Zilliqa. It was an artificial intelligence coin. It's an AI coin that you guys kept telling me about. I keep forgetting it's an AI coin based upon artificial intelligence. And now I was watching Real Vision the other day, and they were talking about it as well. It's like an AI backed blockchain. I keep forgetting about what it was called, man. Yeah, I love synthetics. Synthetics is going to be big. Forgot the name of the coin. It's what's the name? My flow chart. Yeah, I was making flow charts earlier. Forgot what it was called. Yeah, Graph is good. Graph is really good. Yeah, I think it's something singular, like Singular Net or something like that. The guy he was on Real Vision. Forgot what it was called, but it sounded like an interesting project. I own enough cryptocurrency as is anyway, but I like to always look at what's coming next. I don't want to miss out on anything. I'm still iffy about Avalanche. Like I'm iffy about this project. I want to put some money into it. I'm iffy about it. I'm looking at it. It's just it's hard to really get into the technology behind a lot of these things. Like Polkadot, man. Polkadot is a big project. Like once you start diving into the tech and just the staking and all of that, it's a lot. It is a lot. That's why I try to tell you guys, pick a few projects. Don't try to pick like 5 or 6 projects that do the same thing or tackling the same project. Try to pick like a that's why I like Chainlink and Polkadot and Ethereum, because they have a synergy, but they're different. Because once you start diving into the research, sometimes it could take you like a good 2-3 months to really get into it. You gotta try to diversify it, because when you start diving down these rabbit holes, it could take you a long time. Like some of you was even asking me about doing a course on Polkadot. So there we go. Ocean Protocol. That's another one John Lycos. I remember someone donated about that. Ocean Protocol. What else was it? Ocean Protocol was another one, right? Yeah, versatility, that's the word. Singularity.net, AGI. There we go. Good Pro Wealth. That's it right there. AGI. AGI. That's it right there. Good Pro Wealth. That was because I think someone donated like $50 and asked me about that. And Algorand. I told you that something happened with like Coinbase, because I got like a little bit of crypto sitting on Coinbase, like $5,000 or $6,000 from like these airdrops. And somehow Algorand ended up in my wallet. I don't know if it was airdropped to me. I don't know what happened, but it's in my wallet. Algorand. What else is that? Oh, you finally got it set up, George? You finally got it set up with Polkadot. Your Polkadot, man. Polkadot has a lot going on. You want to hear something funny? I was like battling with, like, should I focus more on the Polkadot course now versus the Ethereum DeFi course? But I'm just like, nah. I'm just gonna focus on the DeFi course, because Polkadot's really, it's a fun project. JSPZ, hello sir, thanks for your knowledge. How do you feel about Litecoin? I just feel like Litecoin's a dead project. Honestly, I just feel like there's not enough innovation happening on the project. Now again, I want to preference what I'm saying right now. This is crypto. We are extremely early. Crypto market cap is, the entire market cap is 767 billion. Just because something is garbage, or just because it doesn't have utility or use case, because we're so early, these things can still pump. So when I say something is garbage, besides Ripple, you shouldn't just run out and sell it, right? If it's a solid project and they're not, scheming people or allegedly defrauding people like allegedly Ripple is doing, then, when you look at Litecoin, it could still pump. When I look at Litecoin, I don't see enough utility with it. And I believe that only one cryptocurrency is going to capture the store of value market, and that's going to be Bitcoin. And then when people look at a Litecoin versus, let's say, like an Ethereum, people are going to go with ETH, right? ETH is fast, right? You could do transactions. I believe it's probably faster than Litecoin. I haven't studied Litecoin, so I don't know exactly how many transactions, what the throughput is. But it's just like, I don't see it. Like I look at Ethereum being silver to Bitcoin's gold. Honestly, the narrative. I just don't see enough adoption with Litecoin, and I don't see enough utility with Litecoin. So I don't see it lasting for that much longer. Monero is by far the best privacy coin, my favorite privacy coin. Monero's better than Bitcoin. Monero does everything that people think that Bitcoin can do. Monero can do it. The only problem with Monero is that people they trust too much in the developers. Right? That's it. Like a lot of people just don't understand it. But like I said before, when I look at Litecoin, I just don't see when I look at like their roadmap and what they're trying to do and build, I just don't see enough innovation happening, honestly. So I could be wrong though, but for me, I'm looking at it from this perspective. What's going to be around 3 to 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And what will institutions want to pile in? Meaning, what's going to disrupt an industry? Is that industry a multi-trillion-dollar industry? And will they need to adopt this technology? When I look at DeFi, I'm extremely intrigued by the potential of being able to disrupt a $50 to $60 trillion industry. And if we can capture 10, 15% of that, what does that do to the overall market cap for DeFi? Like when you look at DeFi Pulse, and then when you start looking at people being able to stake and lend and borrow and insurance and non-fungible tokens, that to me is an ecosystem of economic activity, right? I want to be in cryptocurrencies that have utility that people need to use if they want to deal with the blockchain. So to me, that makes sense. I want to be involved in that. Like Litecoin is just like, okay, it's faster than Bitcoin. It's trying to be, baby Bitcoin. I just think, as I said before, I really like what we see with DeFi. And I really think that DeFi is the first real use case for crypto outside of just being a store of value. But again, my throat is starting to get dry. I want to wrap this up by saying this. Many of you've been following now for about 2 years since I've had this YouTube channel. Many of the things that I've predicted would happen has happened. For those of you who have been building with me, dialoguing with me, doing your due diligence and looking into the things that I'm talking about, many of you are doing well in 2020. I believe that 2021 will be mixed with a lot of difficulty, mixed with opportunity. And I think that that's safe to say for the entire crypto space, the entire economy for that matter. And if you notice, most of the wealth is being captured by technology companies, technology stocks in the tech sector. Just look at the FANG stocks. And I believe that that trend's only going to continue going and growing. So fintech is here to stay. Crypto is here to stay. You need to be focusing on getting involved from an investment standpoint, from the entrepreneurial standpoint, and from the employment standpoint, because this is the future where the jobs will be. This is where the economic opportunities are at. And this is just easy money to make, low-hanging fruit. I've been talking about Bitcoin on this channel since it was at $4,000, $5,000. It's at almost 30K now. I've been talking about ETH since it was $100. It's at 700 and still rising. And I've been telling you that Ripple is garbage for years now. And it's finally on its way to the dumpster. So, I've been talking about a lot of things, and I'm not saying that this is financial advice that you should listen to. I'm just simply saying that I put my work in, and I give you the research so that you can go and research it. You need to be able to research the researcher. And this is why I created my Tech Academy, so that you could have a safe space to come and learn about this technology, where I'm not trying to overcharge you and price gouge you, because I want to create a community, right? I believe in bringing smart, intelligent people together so that we can collaborate and start really focusing on the future. in an intelligent way, not just a signal group where, oh, buy this, sell that. No, like where we're really engaging in a technology, because that's where the money's going to be at. The money's going to be with people who build things. If you're building things in crypto, you're going to get filthy rich, right? If you're investing in these protocols at this infancy stage, you're going to get rich. That's how wealth is created. If you're a person and you're just in a signal group and you're trying to trade, most likely you're getting wrecked. So that's mainly what we focus on. And I just hope that I could be that conduit, to do that. So if you are, want to learn about crypto, we have a free 7-day trial. You're more than welcome to come, and try it out and test it out and see if you like it. Free of charge for 7 days. We currently have a coding bootcamp going on. Coming up, I have a lot of announcements for the group inside of the Slack group. So for those of you who are members already, go to the community section, set up your Slack account, and come on over to Slack where we are engaging. And if you want to talk about business and investing, you could book a consultation with me and we can go forward from there. I just saw a donation come in. JPZ says, do you see Monero at least growing where Ethereum is now? Absolutely. I believe Monero is going to be big. The problem with Monero is sooner or later, what's going to happen is that exchanges will start delisting it. The same way that XRP is getting delisted, because Monero is just too good. I can easily see Monero being worth $25 to $50 billion with no problem, right? Because the utility matters. Not even just utility for you and I. Governments around the world, they like secrecy. They like to be able to transact in a secret way when they want to overthrow regimes, or when they want to bribe people, or they want to get paid or pay off, people who they might have been doing things with. So, dark markets, piracy coins, they are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. They will only become more valuable as people realize that they need a utility, right? There's a utility for privacy, right? So understand, Monero has utility. They will go nowhere. Monero will be here to stay, or a privacy coin similar to that. I believe Monero is by far the best privacy coin. So, yes, Monero definitely will pump, but again, there are limitations to what Monero can do as well. I'm telling you that, yes, Monero is great for certain things when it comes to privacy, but my focus is on DeFi because I can see the utility behind that. Tokenizing assets, bringing assets onto the blockchain, creating a gravity well, non-fungible tokens, collector's items. It's so much you can do with DeFi. There's so much low-hanging fruit that you can disrupt. It just makes no sense. But yes, Monero definitely will appreciate in value. I would be shocked if Monero doesn't stay in the top 25 and potentially even crack the top 10. So that just tells you all you need to know right there. So there will always be a marketplace for the dark market and Monero, period. We'll always have value. We'll always have utility. One of the most important things. With that being said, guys, 2020 has been an amazing year. I hope a lot of you are safe during the holidays. Please do not drink too much. Make sure that you're drinking responsibly. If you're partying, party responsibly. Enjoy yourself. It's been a really, really rough and difficult year of 2020. I believe that 2021 is going to give us more of the same, if not worse. But it will be difficulty mixed with opportunity. And depending on where you're structuring, how you're structuring your life, where you are investing your time and energy is going to determine how well you do. You need to create a schedule. You need to create a plan of attack, and you need to be able to stick to that. And you need to, one thing, if anything you can take away from this video, is you need to make sure that going into 2021, you have an accountability partner. Accountability is going to be extremely important. Having someone hold you responsible to stick to your New Year's resolution. So if you're a person, you really want to dive into this coding stuff, you want to get into this industry, you want to get involved with JavaScript, CSS, HTML, every day, like we're going to launch 100 days of coding. We're going to launch that, I believe, probably going to launch that like the 4th or the 5th, with just 100 days of you hitting those keys, doing your projects. There's even a hashtag on Twitter called 100 Days of Coding. Just getting involved. A lot of you overthink this stuff. You try to make it more complicated than what it is. You learn things by doing things. You learn to swim by swimming. You learn basketball by playing. You cannot just read a book to do it. You have to make sure that you are, going to go out here and do the work. Put your hands on the keys and build projects. And then after you build the project, this is what you do. You follow along with me, you build the project, and then you go rebuild it on your own. And then after you rebuild the project on your own, Then you start saying to yourself, well, how can I change this button? How can I make it, how can I change the border radius? How can I change the color? Like, you start diving down the rabbit hole. If I teach something and you don't understand it, Google is your friend, right? Make sure that you take the time out to, just dive into stuff. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to learn. Make sure that you are taking the time to really put that work in to get the results that you want to get. Because at the end of the day, you will sink and swim based upon your own merits, 100%, right? Like, I can't do it for you and you can't do it for me. You have to be able to put the work in. I can give you the information. I can point you in the right direction. I can create the right environment for you. But if you're not doing the necessary things for you to be successful, then I don't know what to tell you. So again, make sure that you're getting in the right groups. A link to join my Tech Academy is in the description below. And start the year off with a bang, man. Put the work in. Challenge me. Ask me questions. Post questions in the group. That way we can grow. So with that being said, guys, this is going to be my last live stream for the year. I'll probably do a live stream maybe the 2nd or the 3rd, unless something catastrophic happens and I need to live stream. But I'm going to enjoy myself for the next 2 or 3 days, and you do the same as well. Make sure you treasure your loved ones. And with that being said, guys, have a blessed and beautiful night. I'll see you guys probably the 2nd or the 3rd.